right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I have for you guys today, William Bonac, working with Coach Abdullah for his Arnold Classic / 2021 Olympia prep, which is a really major change for William. Keep in mind, he worked with Neil Yoda Hill for a number of years. Then he started prepping himself after that. You guys might remember him and Neil had a little bit of a falling out, a pretty public back and forth between the two. But now he's working with Coach Abdullah, who, of course, also coaches Brandon Curry. Now, Abdullah posted this picture with William Bonac saying 4 weeks out to the Arnold Classic. William is very happy. He gained 11 kgs the first time. He'd get to that in no time. Our target is to add 5 to 6 kgs compared to his last competition. So I think that's a pretty important piece of information there, because 6 kgs would be 13 pounds heavier that they want Bonac to come in at the Arnold than he was at last year's Olympia. And I guess we're going to find out whether or not that's going to be a good plan. I think conditioning is one of the biggest things that Bonac has in his arsenal. When he comes in with that crazy conditioning, that's what makes him play so high. Of course, he's very dense. He's got a ton of muscle. He's very compact. So that conditioning adds that extra element that he needs to do well. Will he sacrifice that conditioning with 5 to 6 extra kgs? I guess we're going to find out. Now, William Bonac also confirming that he's working with Abdullah. In his own post, this back double bicep shot here where he has the caption, "Finally, I got a taste of that anabolic chicken. I teamed up with Abdullah, and we have put up a formula together with a bit of old mixed in with new flavor. Let's see what the future holds. Bader, sir, I hope you got my Camel ready for the ride. Ready or not, here we come. Road to the Arnold and the Olympia." And I probably don't need to remind you guys that Bonac is the returning defending Arnold Classic champion. On paper, he's got to be the favorite to win that show. Now, speaking of Coach Abdullah, his other athlete, Brandon Curry, posting a physique update today, and we don't know if it's recent. We can assume it is. He says, "Just hitting my stride. 2021 focused." But what he does not say is at what point in his prep for the Olympia this picture was taken. But he does have the same beard as he had in a lot of the other pictures, and a lot of you guys pointed that out in the last updates that Abdullah posted. Everybody was noticing like the length of his beard. Now, look, it's not every day that we get a physique update from a former Mr. Olympia champion going into the Olympia this year. Now, Brandon, I think, he means business this time around. Brandon could have jumped in that Arnold Classic lineup. He's a former Arnold Classic champion. It would be a big win for Brandon, a lot of prize money. He was second place at the Olympia last year to Big Ramy, and I don't think he liked that. He chose to sit out the Arnold Classic, which is just a couple weeks before the Olympia this year, and I think the main reason for him doing that was because he's focused on just being his best one day of the year, and that day is going to be the Olympia. I don't think Brandon wants to settle for second place. Even though you've got 90% or a big majority of the Olympia lineup competing at the Arnold, Brandon is not among those names. And like I said, I think the reason for that is he's focusing on bringing his absolute best package at the Olympia this year. And I'm not going to be surprised when he does bring his best, because Brandon every year improves, every year looks better, every year does something that we didn't think he could do, whether it's winning the Olympia, whether it's beating Phil Heath last year, or whether it's bringing up his legs, adding size where we didn't think he could. Brandon continues to impress, and I will not be betting against him this year. Now, next up in the news, this is interesting, guys. We've got some strict curl drama. So over the past couple days, we had two pretty major strict curl stories. Leroy the Machine Walker with a 114-kilo strict curl, 250 pounds, beating Denis Cyplenkov's record. This was officially sanctioned, meaning it was done in competition, and the record is recognized by the governing body of the NPLC, the National Powerlifting Committee. But you guys know that. You guys have seen those videos. And then one day later, somebody claimed to have broken the record, and that's the first post that I want to talk about today, because there's been an update on that. You might know him as Neezy333 on Instagram. So he put up a post yesterday where he put a caption on his story, and I think I've still got the video. I'll roll that for you guys real quick. And he labeled it as a 115-kilo strict curl. He said that's what the lift was. And I even said in my video yesterday, this is unconfirmed. Leroy's record is confirmed. A record apparently is being claimed to have been broken the next day. This one is not confirmed under the WRP powerlifting banner. So Neezy put up this post today. Even though he is one of the best strict curlers in the world, there's no question about it. He's always been a top tier guy, so it wouldn't have surprised me if it was really a record strict curl. But he put up this post not only confirming that his lift was not a record, but he also says he rejects Leroy's record. So I'll read you guys the caption here. I don't want to be a hater. I just want to say that if everyone competes for the world record, then the rules should be the same for everyone. I believe that Leroy LWT the Machine is a strong athlete, but I do not recognize his record, just as Denis Cyplenkov does not recognize his record. This is not pride or vanity. If I saw a clean rise there, I would strive for it simply and accept the challenge with dignity. But there's too many questions. The elbows are bent too much. The assistants serve the barbell. The grip is narrow. The wall is narrow. Honestly, I have a lot of distrust in the weights on the barbell. I asked the organizers of the Arnold Classic, which will be held in March of 22 in the USA, to be serious about all of that. I repeat again, the rules in judging should be the same for everyone. I am for fair sport and for justice. Respect for all athletes from different countries. And let's be honest with ourselves firstly. If you agree with my thoughts, repost it. The weight that I lift on video is 110 kgs, and my own weight is 107.5 kgs. So he brings up some interesting points here. I'm going to put a side-by-side of his curl and Leroy's curl. And again, Neezy's curl is not a world record curl. But he does make some points. The platform that he is on, Neezy, is much wider than Leroy's. And I guess the concern there would be that would allow for potentially a little bit more momentum in the curl. On Neezy's platform, his shoulders are completely pressed up against the back, which is what I believe the rules should be. And it also extends beyond his shoulders. So there's no chance that his shoulders are not touching that pad. And I actually didn't notice this the first time that I watched Leroy's video. His shoulders are actually wider than the pad. So even though his mid-upper back might be touching it, his shoulders aren't. Or at least his full shoulders aren't. Maybe part of his shoulders are touching. Anyway, it's an interesting point that Neezy brings up. Some of the stuff he's saying here is not complete. Like, it's not being a hater. He makes some decent points. The grip is narrower. I think the grip should be consistent across all the organizations. I agree with that. Now, one big thing that I saw a lot of people comment on was the bar that Leroy is using, but I think the bar that Neezy is using here is probably the most weird bar I think I've ever seen somebody strict curl with. That's a strange looking bar. Even weirder than Leroy's. So if we're talking about uniformity across competitions and across platforms and divisions, I think we need some bar uniformity too, because I've seen so many different bars in strict curl competitions. Which one gives you a little bit of an advantage? How much do they all weigh? Which one's thicker? Which one has the narrowest grip? Which one supinates your wrist the most, supinates them the least? These are all factors. When you're talking about a bicep curl, such a small muscle group, these factors can vary greatly how much weight you can lift with that bar. And I think that's something that really needs to be uniform among strict curl if we're talking about world record status. Now, CT Fletcher, the former strict curl world record holder himself, commented on Neezy's post, and he says, I totally agree with you. So he's got CT's support. But another response came from Leroy himself. He says, well said. I respect Neezy's opinion. However, let's be clear. The weight was verified 3 times on film and posted. So they did actually film. I'll show you guys right here. They filmed all the weights piece by piece. They were all weighed to the correct weight. So that was one thing that he questioned. He said he doesn't trust the weight on the bar. The rack, platform rack, was too narrow and requires liftoff from the spotters, just as a bench press does for benchers. I have no problem lifting it off myself. This is another point that Neezy made. To be honest, I don't really care if someone gets a liftoff for the strict curl. I don't really think it matters. The wall is legal, and the rules do not say there is a width requirement. The elbows, yes, could be more straight, but injuries and surgeries make them bent. This is also at the discretion of a head judge to determine. I accept the challenge. I will lift over 120 kgs at the Arnold in 22, and we will have a great battle. I'm looking forward to a clean contest and settling it on stage as men and as great competitors. I have a lot of respect for Neezy and Denis Cyplenkov and the sport of strict curl, and he tags Strict Curl Nation. So I think both these guys made some good points. And at the end of the day, neither of them are really wrong. On Leroy's side of the coin, if the rules in that federation allow everything that he did, and they recognize and verify and support that being the world record under their rules, then he did nothing wrong. But on the other hand, if these rules are so different from another federation where the strict curl world record was held under, the strict curl world record by Denis was set and held under the WRP banner for the past 5 years since 2016. So if the rules do vary that greatly between, then when we're having a world record attempt type of meet where we have all these athletes come from all over the world to compete in strict curl like they're going to have at the Arnold, I agree there does need to be some uniformity. There needs to be some rules that reach across divisions, that reach across organizations. People need to agree on the width requirement of the wall behind them. They need to agree on the bar. They need to agree on the weight use. They need to agree on the elbow positioning. They need to agree on the rack. I agree that there should be uniformity and there should be set guidelines for a world record attempt that are different than just a regular powerlifting federation. But like I said, Leroy's attempt was verified, recorded, and supported by a sanctioned powerlifting meet and a governing body of that meet. So look, to me, if the lift is verified in a sanctioned meet, the governing body upholds that as a world record, I think it counts. You've got yourself a 250-pound, 114-kilo strict curl done in competition, verified and passed by the judges and recorded as a world record. It counts. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.
Всем привет. Тут шумиха насчет пиццухи. Уже надоело, если честно. Мы тут со всеми пообщались. То есть все пытаются устанавливать рекорд, то бишь бить 113 килограмм. То есть мой рекорд, но по своим правилам. Смешно, конечно. Поэтому мы пообщались. Я решил, что признаю рекорд только тогда, когда будет он действительно выполнен, ну, так, как я делал. То есть это пятки 30 сантиметров от стены. Затем штангу я сам беру, широким хватом и затылок прижат к стене. Для того, чтобы спина у нас не отрывалась, и мы это все видели. Затылок этому будет способствовать. Как-то так. Поэтому всем добра и рекордов.
Now, next up in the news, I wanted to give you guys a better look at Wesley Vissers, who competed this past weekend in Poland in an attempt to qualify for the Olympia, which he did in fact do. He won the show. And this was yesterday. I didn't really see any great pictures or videos yesterday, so today we've got a lot more pictures, a lot more videos, so I can show you guys some of that. So Wesley's own analysis in the caption of the post that the victory post that he put up, he says, "Incredibly happy with the package I brought. The conditioning was improved, and I was just a bit fuller. Professional footage coming up, and don't forget to check his YouTube channel, Vintage Genetics." So honestly, yeah, the first thing that I noticed when I started to see some of the actual photos and videos was I thought Wesley looked fuller. He looked rounder, and I thought that was a good thing because he still looked like he was shredded. Look, at the end of the day, Wesley is a bit of a mystery to me. I think he's got a fantastic classic physique. I think he's got everything that it would seem the classic physique division in the IFBB is looking for. But it seems like on the big stages, the Olympia, the Arnold Classic, he doesn't get rewarded at all. But then he goes and wins shows in the off-season. Or not the off-season, but he wins shows that aren't main shows. Every year it seems like he goes somewhere else and wins a show and gets to the Olympia. He's not getting there on points. He's not getting there off of some loophole. He's getting to the Olympia by winning shows. So on one hand, judges are telling Wesley, you've got a physique that deserves to win shows in Classic in the IFBB. Here's your victory. Then he goes to the Olympia, and then it's, second call out. I don't know, personally, if I were judging the Olympia just based on what I like and what I think is a good classic physique, I would have Wesley in the first call out every year. But clearly there's something about his physique the judges just don't like. At first, they told him it was conditioning, and he's been working on that, and I think he has certainly improved upon that. Now, some say it's simply Wesley's legs and that he needs to bring them up more. I think he's brought them up, certainly, but I do think he could bring them up some more, so it could be that. Other people think Wesley looks blocky in some poses. I think he's done a great job of actually changing his posing. One thing that I noticed when he poses is that twisted front double bicep. I guess you could call it a side bicep. Kind of fixes that. But I also think he looks great in the regular front double bicep. So for me, the big question just seems to be, what can Wesley do to do well at the Olympia? I think he already looks fantastic. To me, he's like the definition of classic physique. I love Wesley's physique. I love how he looked at this show. But the question is, will he get the recognition at the Olympia? It's just apples and oranges. It's what do you like? Do the judges like his physique in that division or don't they? I've seen Wesley even tease about possibly switching to open in his comment section before. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you think Wesley looked this weekend? And why do you think it is that it seems like when the big shows come around, he's not rewarded? And the final story that I have for you guys today is Sergio Oliva Jr., one of the bigger names in the Arnold Classic Ohio this year. A lot of people are excited to see Sergio compete. We wanted to see him in Chicago. We were hoping we could see him maybe at the Tampa Pro, but we didn't. And I think had he done Chicago, he likely would have won that show and gotten to the Olympia. But it looks like that is not going to happen unless he wins the Arnold Classic. I've said this before. That would be the most exciting outcome to me. But he posted this physique update, just a brief most muscular shot here. He looks massive. He looks round. He looks full. He looks hard. He looks great. And Sergio, like I said, he's a guy that I really want to see do well here. I think this is his show to shine. This is where I think we're going to see, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I think we're going to see probably the best version of Sergio we've ever seen on a pro stage at this Arnold Classic. That's what I'm expecting to see. I think Sergio is going to do very well here. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. I think this is a very important show to him. Not only is he potentially missing the Olympia because of the personal issues that kept him out of Chicago, but he also didn't get to compete when he wanted to. So he's got to kind of make up for that at this Arnold Classic. And there's the chance that if he wins the Arnold, he could still go to the Olympia. There is this tiny chance. This is going to be, I'm not saying that to discourage him. I think for everybody, it's a tiny chance to win the Arnold. This is going to be a deep lineup. And I think any of these big names, if you said, could this guy win? I think the chance is small because there's so many good guys in here that chance is divided up by 10 really great bodybuilders. But honestly, from what I'm seeing so far, Sergio looks fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. That's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Give the video a big thumbs up. Like I always say, thumbs up helps out a lot. It's free, gets us into the algorithm. It gets us more views. If you like the video, if you enjoy the video, all you got to do is hit the like button. It's free. Help me out. Help a brother out. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.